Strike! Peanuts! Get your peanuts!
Ice cold beer. Hot dogs. Get your hot dogs here.
Hear ye, we are reporting live from the Lincoln Lounge for Honest Abe's Sports Report to provide you with the very best sports coverage around. Please follow us across all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also find us on all listening platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and
iHeartRadio.
on Monday's show we had an audition for Aaron when Aaron's not there, so you're more than welcome to audition.
No one could do it like him. All we do is try.
iHeartRadio.
As always, I'm the sexy Gretzky, George Gresko, and I'm alongside a few sports enthusiasts who are football throwing, baseball bat swinging, football throwing, basketball dribbling, swinging for the fence. It's a home run. Ulysses S. Rant, Kyle Carini.
Hey, glad to be back.
Tito Round Tripper, baseball whisperer.
Season's greetings. Happy to be here.
Oh, I love that intro. But Kyle, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good. Power was out around Eastlake this morning, but I made it work. Couldn't sleep with my fan, but and we got through it, and then power came back on after a little while. So I know some things we take for granted nowadays, but
Well, I was trying to turn off the thing, and I don't know where I put the damn remote. Oh, well, Tito, how's your bat swinging?
Oh, pretty good. I'm not too far from Ulysses here, and I heard he didn't have power, and I quickly did the check and found out I had power, and immediately made coffee in case the power went out.
oh yeah,
It was good
half
to go.
mile up the road has power.
Exactly. Yeah, real tale of the haves and have-nots. You just never know how the power grid's going to go when all that shit gets fractured. But, yeah, ready for the big game tonight. We got a good NBA and a good NFL game. Not to get too ahead of things. I'm not sure the sequence. But, yes, the bat's swinging and ready to see some good games.
I like it. Before we get started, I do have an announcement just because it's a normal thing to do. Coming up very soon, guys, less than 2 weeks away. On Saturday, December 14th, the entire Abraham Drinking podcast will be throwing an event called Shots for Tots. Shots for Tots will be an annual fundraiser benefiting the U.S. Marines Toys for Tots program. Shots for Tots will be held at Wessel's in downtown Willoughby. We will collect new unwrapped toys for Toys for Tots to distribute to families in need this Christmas. Let's all bring hope and joy to families across Lake County this holiday season. Every child deserves a Christmas like no other. We will have a DJ, games, 50-50 raffle, pictures with Santa, food, and much more. And everybody that has donated so far, we appreciate you very much. But let's all come together this holiday season, not only to celebrate, but to give joy to kids when they see presents underneath the tree this Christmas. And we hope everyone can make it. I'm pretty excited for this, guys.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of the bar. They really have done a pretty good job decorating it for the season. I really like that little speakeasy room they have on the side.
It's like an unusual, different bar. That's why I like doing stuff there.
And I've always liked going there. For the audience at home, I don't know if they like bourbon, but I can tell you I counted just on the shelves about 80 different bourbons there.
Ooh, humdinger. They got some vittles. All right.
Now, is Lake Erie Distillery confirmed?
They are confirmed,
Okay,
and I can't tell you
now
exactly.
Now I like to support those local distilleries.
So Lake Erie
I'm sure he'll be bringing some good stuff.
Yeah, so Lake Erie Distillery has confirmed they are coming. In today's email,
So what you can't tell is they're coming, but no details.
they haven't gave me the exact detail.
Oh,
They said we are figuring out something very special.
Oh, okay.
They said
wow.
with their email
All
back,
right.
so I don't exactly know yet. I said, once you know, let me know, because I want to promote it as much as possible. But they are 100% coming and confirmed as of this morning, which is pretty awesome. But if anyone else has any questions or concerns or anything about Shots for Tots, if you guys would like to donate, just get a hold of me. We could use some more food. We all like food. Food and bourbon. Nothing can't beat it. So, yes, if anyone wants to help out and donate, please message us via our Facebook page. All right, gentlemen, let's get started, shall we? this past weekend was the game.
Now,
the
why do we have to start out with the bad news?
Bad
to
news.
get it out of the fucking way.
Bad
All right.
news.
I'm glad we're starting with this.
Bad news. Yeah, this past weekend was the game. Michigan versus Ohio State. Ohio State was a 20-point favorite over the Wolverines going into this game. Michigan has now won 4 straight over the Buckeyes. As a Michigan fan, to be honest, though, I did not think we had a chance in this game. I thought they were going to blow out fucking Michigan. And I told everybody from the beginning, I said, if Michigan could just somehow keep it close to the fourth quarter and give themselves a chance, we might have ourselves a ball game.
Which is crazy. I think that we have a segment carved out for Ryan Day. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it's crazy because it's like, dude, you were right, and you shouldn't have been right. Like, Michigan has a rookie coach. And, like I said, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves on the Ryan Day thing, but just the fact that it came down to, like, a tie game or whatever in the fourth quarter, and it's like, oh, man, I feel like the rookie coach will make the right moves. Like, what does that say about the coach that's not a rookie? And I guess I'll put a pin in it for now until we get to the specific part about our coach. But that's just the first thing that came to mind. Like, man, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty optimistic. If I didn't say it, I'm sure George or someone else would. I was quite forthright and very overconfident in the group chat, just sort of like, man, you guys need like 4 inches of snow to even have a chance. And
All I kept saying,
that wasn't the case.
all I kept saying was either go blue or Michigan stinks.
Yeah, you guys,
they suck.
you guys didn't need any help from the weather. We just blew it out our ass on a nice day on our own.
We found a way to lose on our own, but we'll get into that more.
Yeah.
Ohio State needs to practice special teams more.
Yeah.
3 phases, gentlemen.
Well, and the special ed teams don't call timeouts you don't have. But
Yeah,
again, I'm
God.
getting ahead of myself. But anyways,
All right.
man, I don't know, just brutal.
Damn it! I wish I would have that.
College football, not to cut you off, but just before I lose my train of thought, like college football, 0 point second half, that doesn't get it done. It's it's a bit alarming in the NFL. It's a fucking death sentence in college. Like, I don't care if it's a defensive game or not. Like, you are not even gonna have a realistic expectation to win a game where you score 0 points in the second half.
Yeah, you have to score in the second half, and let's get into it because I know we're gonna sound off. Here we go. So this is a huge topic around just college football through all Ohio State fans and just across the country are talking about Ryan Day. So Ryan Day currently is the head coach at Ohio State is 66-10 as the head coach at Ohio State. He's 1-3 in college football playoff games. He's 1-4 now against rival Michigan, losing 4 straight. If Ryan Day doesn't win the national championship this year, is he fired at the end of the season?
Yes. And also, I believe his offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, should be fired too. And as I said in our group chat, we are still going to be in the playoffs. I believe we're ranked 7, but I mean now we're a shameful entrance into the playoffs. And I mean, you got to beat Michigan. It's the biggest game of the year every season. I mean, to me, beating Michigan is bigger than the championship. And I think most or all Ohio State fans would tell you that.
And it's so weird. Like, do you think like?
And he's had 4 chances now. Well, 4 losses. Can't have that. And
He cursed himself when he said he's going to hang 60.
They got
cursed
away.
himself.
They got away from the past there, and I don't know why, because I didn't think the conditions were that bad. Just a little cold.
And we have all those blue chip wideouts. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Well, and I also heard the stat. So in the past,
we
more
have guys
puzzling
that
to
we
get
can. We
away
have
from the
guys
past.
that
Yeah,
we have guys
why?
that can catch the ball.
the past 15 times they played against each other, the team with the most rushing yards won the game.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, Ryan Day wanted to insert to make sure we could run the ball, but I'm just like, dude, you have the best wide receivers. Arguably college football.
And in some of the wins we've had this season, it seemed to me like we would make those good passes, and then that would really have to keep the defense honest, and then that would kind of open up the running game for Henderson. And I really think, like I said, Chip Kelly should definitely be gone no matter what. And Ryan Day should too. If he wins the national championship, well, maybe there might be a little case against it, but but that offensive coordinator Kelly, he's gone. They screwed it all up, and their play calling. No.
The athletic director has came out and said that they're not moving on from Ryan Day, but you have to do that going into the playoffs. Like, you're not going to say, well, yeah, we're firing him at the end of the season and
right.
we're going into the playoffs. You know, I'm like,
no, that's that that upper the front office talk where they like talk around the top.
right.
I was really hoping somehow, some way it would shake down that we would host the Hurricanes. Get like a rematch from that 2003 title.
That'd been cool.
Yeah, like just from a personal standpoint, my fantasy baseball league is mostly Miami guys, and they still like say we got lucky in that 03 title game. And I saw the stars aligning. I'm like, fuck yeah, home playoff game against the Hurricanes. We beat them 42-3, and now they can't say shit. And then unfortunately, that narrative doesn't come into fruition because Ohio State's still going to the playoffs. We're backing in, and now Miami has to literally sit on their haunches and wait and see how that SMU Clemson game goes. They are the bubble team right now, Miami. So how the mighty have fallen from posturing for like a 6 seed to hoping for a favorable outcome in the conference title game they're not in. That's the plight of the Hurricanes. So things have changed really fast. And not to get too diverted into the Hurricanes, it's just that, like, for the sake of seeing an entertaining playoff, I'm certainly not like a Miami fan, but the best two quarterbacks in this draft are widely acknowledged to be Shadir Sanders and Cam Ward. And Shadir Sanders isn't going to these playoffs. So just for the sake of seeing one of these blue-chip quarterbacks and getting a good look at them, especially, if we have a horse in the race, if the Browns pit out into the top 4 of the draft, and the draft is so fluid right now. Like, the Browns could rally and pick like 10th or so, or we could pit out and pick like 3rd or 4th. Like, I was hoping to, just for the sake of some good games and for some good evaluations, get a good look at Cam Ward. And now he's literally a coin flip to be in the playoffs. Ohio State's backing into the playoffs. Like, everything's changed. We got SMU Clemson in this ACC title game. And SMU may or may not go either way. It'll be kind of interesting. If Clemson wins the title game, it's just going to turn into a full-out, campaigning war, whether to X out SMU or Miami. Whereas if SMU wins, it's just cut and dry because Clemson's 17. They have no case.
Right,
so SMU wins, it's just like Miami backs in, SMU's in. That's the end of it. And, I would just say that we'll have an interesting debate on our hands if if Clemson wins, because then they got to decide whether to put in SMU or Miami, and that gets dicey because Miami has a little more cachet and a better quarterback, and maybe SMU has a better.
Miami just had that loss to Syracuse.
Yeah, that's not necessarily
Kyle McCord,
a good
baby.
loss.
Yeah,
Kyle McCord.
I mean, I'm not saying Syracuse is nothing, but they're not like Texas. So yeah, that's a loss that's going to hurt them, because. I'm not saying Syracuse is a total pushover, but again, they're not like in any of these discussions. So as far as the pundits go, that is a bad loss. Like, I feel like Miami will get squeezed out if that ACC title game doesn't go their way. I would almost venture to say you got to put in SMU instead of them if Clemson wins that. But above my pay grade, not my problem. That's up to the committee and 500,000 angry people on the internet to fucking fight.
I agree,
over.
and I do want to say this. So in 2 weeks, we are going to have a college football playoff show where I'm going to get the whole bracket up here. We're going to make an argument.
Get in there.
Yeah, we'll dive into the whole college football playoff. It'll be a special show.
That'll be a cool.
That'll be our next big show. So and that'll probably end up being here just because. To have the visual too.
The board will help with the 12-team field.
So we'll figure out that all coming forward. But back to Ryan Day, guys.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Fired?
Yes.
So fired. I just had one quick stat. Borrowed this from another podcast, but that's okay. That's the world we live in. These are all accessible facts everyone has. Since the Jim Tressel hire, we rattled off. From Jim Tressel to Ryan Day, the Ohio State Buckeyes rattled off an 18-2 clip against Michigan. And as previously discussed, Ryan Day took the baton on that 18-2 and parlayed that into a 1-4. That's not good.
So are you saying Ryan Day was born on third base?
Pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Because, I mean, like, you know, we are a storied program with high standards, and in this What Have You Done For Me Lately world,
Right.
isn't it fair to say you lose back-to-back to your harsh rival, you're on the hot seat if you don't win a
Yeah.
title one of those years. Okay, this is worse than back-to-back,
Oh, yeah. I
guys.
mean,
These are whole graduating
there were-
classes,
there were-
like not
yeah.
getting wins against their rivals.
There were
so,
people calling for his job last year.
So, yeah,
But let's not forget.
his ass is in the
let's
fire.
let's go to the Michigan side. So with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh was like 1-5 against Ohio State before he ended up winning 2 straight.
And
win the
breaking
national
through,
championship.
yeah,
So I'm
right.
like, I don't think he has a winning record against Ohio State, Jim Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. But
That's
Yeah.
funny.
maybe
That
Ohio
might be
State
the
2 straight in the national championship. So I'm
But
just
he
like,
has 3 wins.
And it's funny you say that because I don't think that Ohio State is going to take a page out of Michigan's book. But basically, you're saying like, hey, Michigan was patient with Harbaugh and it paid off. And sure, that's fair. I hear you. I don't think the decision makers at Ohio State are going to like take that same opinion. I think it's kind of apples and
Now,
oranges
the
because Jim Harbaugh is not Ryan Day. He had
Yeah.
obviously accomplished more than Ryan Day had prior to each of them hitting these respectable
And I'll
stops,
say
which
this,
allowed
yeah.
him that leeway.
and I will
you know?
say this though, when Ryan Day took over, the program was in great. They were Ohio
Essentially
State was
perfect.
legit.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
when Harbaugh took over, he had a
Yeah.
rebuild from dude. Rich Rod fucked up Michigan's program for a long
Dude,
time.
remember us talking about that
Well,
at the
right.
game?
You got to consider
was-
the players that each coach has had to work.
Yes,
I
yes.
still feel silly. I was so, as a Buckeyes fan, I was terrified when Michigan hired Rich Rodriguez. I thought that was like Michigan's big breakthrough, and it absolutely was not. So, yeah, you're right. Again, going back to apples and oranges, like Michigan was patient with Harbaugh after he started slow against the Buckeyes.
Right.
But better resume, and his program had some warts.
Yep.
Whereas with Ryan Day, he did not have the previous
You could
accomplishments of
say he
Harbaugh.
was born on third base.
Right, yeah. And, well, you
All
know,
right. Yeah.
So
I
it's
like
it's
that.
it's
Thinking he hit a triple.
it's different. So it's like fair for you to bring up.
Well, it's like
that-
in
that
extra innings, he
Yeah.
starts on second.
Michigan was patient. Michigan was patient with Harbaugh, and it paid off. But that doesn't mean that patience is always the move. And I don't think patience will be the move here. I think he's certainly, to say the least, fighting an uphill battle to keep his job.
Now, and that's the thing. Like, if there wasn't the extended playoff for the first year, I think he was fired after the Michigan Ohio State game. In my
Yeah.
opinion, that's what's kind of keeping him around as of right now. So we'll kind of see what happens.
So now that poll we had, wasn't it pretty much unanimous?
26 to 2 votes.
Okay, I didn't know how to
Oh,
count
all
the
right.
votes. I just knew that we had 28 votes, and it was overwhelmingly for
So
firing
two
him. It was
people-
26
two
to
people
2.
vote.
26 to 2.
So that's a pretty clear mandate.
Well, was one of them you who voted no, so we keep losing?
No.
Oh, fuck. I was really hoping one of them were you.
No, it wasn't me. I want Ryan Day to stay for all. I want him there.
We'll put a name on it. If
That's
two,
why I asked if you voted
two
no.
people that weren't George said for him to keep his job, please comment on our page and
Yeah,
tell us why
comment
he should
why.
stay. You're so far in the minority, you might as well stick your neck out there and state your case. We'd love to hear from you. I like to
want
see
him-
things from both sides, and I can't see a reason to even entertain.
I
keeping
want him to stay. What
Of
are you
course
talking
you
about?
do.
We keep him on the Buckeyes sideline forever.
Of course.
Coach Pud.
You're
I
not
call
getting
him.
another John Cooper, all right? We're firing a guy before he loses 12 in a row or whatever.
Yeah,
Cooper
it was
did.
pretty bad. The record was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's not happening again. We learned from that. So, but yeah,
No, all right, well.
dang.
Guys, it's been now 1,832 days since Ohio State has last beaten the Michigan Wolverines, baby. Yeah.
Well, at least the 6 people listening in Michigan are having a good time.
Go Blue!
Gosh, that song's annoying.
I know. It's just play it for 10 minutes. It's awesome for ratings. Let it ride.
It's a good
You
mini.
fucking asshole.
It's a great mini clip, guys.
It's really not.
That's a long time. 1,832
All right,
days.
well,
God
enjoy it,
bless
George, because it ain't going to be forever.
Right. And let's not forget the fact you went 7-5 after a national title. That's always a disappointment.
Well, coaching change. You got to say coaching change.
Sure.
The draft.
Coaching changed, Blue Moon, the Age of Aquarius. Whatever happens, 7-5 is a disappointment after a title.
We had 18 starters going in the draft, bro.
Yeah, that's what good programs do. We lost some guys too.
Yeah.
We won more than we lost last year. You guys lost more than you won.
Yeah, but wait
but
till-
enjoy that rivalry.
Wait till
one.
next year when we finally got a quarterback.
You guys get a quarterback every 20 years. What are the odds you're going to find one next year?
No, he just signed.
He just signed.
The best quarterback. Yeah, he's going to start next season.
Well, high school translates perfectly to college. I guess this guy can't miss,
Stud.
huh? Can't miss?
6'6",
Oh,
240.
well, let's just give him the title for next year.
He should.
Perfect. It's settled.
And next year, the game's in Michigan again. You guys are in big trouble. Ooh.
Well, we'll see what happens. It's
Right.
a long season before.
Yeah, I'll say there's a lot of time.
Yeah.
But when Michigan has had good quarterbacks,
Excuse me.
they've been national championship contenders. Chad Henne, McCarthy.
But again, I'm
In between there, we didn't really have
stats
one.
guy. You guys get a good quarterback every 10 years. You can't just say we've got a stud out of high school and he can't miss. High school kids
Well,
miss.
they used
high
that
school
running
kids
back.
miss.
What was
Yeah.
his
It
name?
happens.
Corum?
Oh, Blake, that was
was
running back last year.
Yeah.
Blake Corum,
Yeah.
Donovan Edwards. Yeah, you guys saw a lot of him running up and down.
Yeah,
the field.
the past few years they had a good running game.
All right, enough shit talking.
Just get your
huh?
shit together and get back in the race next year. You weren't in the race at the end of the day.
Hey, we're in a bowl game.
Yeah, you know,
I honestly think
against North Dakota State
No,
tomorrow.
I think it should be. I
Have
think
they announced any bowls? Seriously?
No,
Or
I haven't seen
didn't
any.
think so.
But I
Okay,
think
it's
it
too
should,
soon.
honestly, like for ratings, the two teams are out. Michigan should play Colorado in the bowl game. It would be good eyes.
That'd be a good game.
I think it'd be an entertaining bowl game. I don't know. We'll see though. All right, gentlemen. I'm gonna be right off the rip. I don't know a lick of NHL, so I'm gonna turn this over to Tito and Kyle.
Yeah, I haven't really been following much hockey, to be honest. There are some surprises. The Winnipeg Jets are now 18-8. The Wild are 17-4. But I think the Winnipeg Jets have been a big story in the NHL. Unfortunately, our Blue Jackets, who I used to follow when we were good, are just a tick over 500, 11-10. But they do have 3 overtime losses, so kind of a rough start there for our friends in Columbus.
Sure, yeah. Cleveland doesn't have an NHL team, so it's
Yeah.
fair to call Columbus our
I'll tell you
local
what,
team.
though, I went down there before to Columbus to the Arena District, and I mean, a few years ago, the Blue Jackets were real good and were competing for the Cup, and I remember they beat the Lightning, and the Lightning were the number 1 seed, and we swept them in the first round. That was great. But anyway, yeah. I just wish the Blue Jackets could be as good as they were before. I'll never cheer for the Penguins.
No Pittsburgh teams. We never cheer for Pittsburgh.
But one
Period.
thing I did want to mention, I kind of been paying attention to, as a very casual hockey fan, is Ovechkin is now approaching Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record.
Oh, wow.
And I want to tell you exactly how many it is.
Yeah, that's crazy because, for a while, I mean, I don't like the word never, but a lot of people thought that record would stand for a very long time, and now it's quite within reach.
He is currently at 868 goals, and
Wow.
Gretzky had 894.
Dude,
Oh,
So
shit.
he's a
Okay.
little less than 30 away. So, but now you have to talk sample size, and I think Ovechkin has had more games, but
And
not
to
but
think-
not a whole lot more. So
And to think, though, like, 800, that's a lot of goals. Especially,
Yeah.
like, most hockey games end, like, 2-1, 3-1.
But I think
2-2,
Gretzky
you know
has
what I mean?
Gretzky has like way more points. Which, see, in hockey, you get a point when you get an assist, and with hockey being such a team sport, you always it's good when you're that guy that sets the guy up.
Yeah.
And I remember I've seen a lot of Gretzky's highlights. My dad was a big fan of him, but he was just on another level. That's why they called him the Great One. But he had this move where he would get the puck behind the net, and then he would kind of shoot out and go around it and be able to score. And
Right.
or if he couldn't, he would find a guy open and just shoot it right to him, and they'd put it right in the net. So, but that's the thing. That's why it's kind of a trick in hockey is if you can get the puck behind the net, and then the goaltender they can't really
I
see.
forget that's called
Yeah,
something.
get him on a swivel.
It's called something where you scoop around the net. I can't remember the term. There is a term for it. That's
It's
how much.
not reach around. Is
But
it?
but I did want to say
It might be.
I'm mixing up my truck stop and hockey terms here.
but I did want to say Ovechkin is currently injured with a leg injury. I believe it was a fractured fibula or tibula, so he's had to miss part of the season. but he's been having a miraculous recovery, and I believe
Yeah, he's one of those fast healer guys. Where
he's
they're
he's actually
reinventing the timetable.
He's not
for his
playing
return.
yet, but he's actually skating.
Projected to come back pretty soon.
So I mean, chasing that record and probably wanting to get to it this season is probably really driving his recovery efforts. But that'll be when he ties that record and when he breaks it. I mean, you're going to see that all over SportsCenter.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
TV
huge. I
and,
mean, that's huge. You're breaking a Legends record.
Yeah.
And to be honest, and he's a stud too. Like he's pretty good.
If you want to compare it to LeBron breaking the all-time points record, in my mind, it's in hockey's a contact sport.
Mm-hmm.
And
right, and Ovechkin didn't get to start when he was 12 like LeBron.
Yeah.
So
Right.
not trying to take too much away from LeBron, but yes, you're saying possibly assuming he gets this done, this is more impressive than LeBron
be-
has
I
in
think the
Kareem.
longevity in a contact sport is pretty impressive, especially on hockey. Like you know how you're getting hit, you're getting checked in
and
the
not to
wall.
mention they're rotating
like-
lines. Like you
Right.
don't get the run of an NBA guy playing 42 minutes a game.
look at the
I mean, sure, if you're a main hockey guy, you're not coming out every substitution. But main hockey guys, you don't get the run of a hoopster playing 42 minutes a game.
agreed.
You know,
And look at
So
the
you gotta do it
look
less
at the
volume.
look at the circumstances. He's coming back from a broken leg.
Right.
So yeah, I hope I wish. I remember a few years ago the Caps won the cup, and I remember seeing him skating around with the cup. I always knew he was a great player, and he's had a lot of length now, longevity in his career. So it'll be great to see him break it.
and it's kind of an.
I think Jaromir Jagr's up there too in the total goal count.
It's kind of an anomaly. I've been following this Canada drought because it's like, I don't know, maybe a third or a fourth of the league's Canadian. I don't know the numbers. But a Canadian team hasn't won the Cup since the glory days of Patrick Waugh and the Montreal Canadiens in the mid-'90s. I want to say 94. I'm not the biggest hockey guy. It was sometime in the mid-'90s. So either way, we're dealing with a 30-something-year drought. It seems like generally most of the good Canadian hockey teams this year are in the West. And I was looking at the standings, like I said, the hot starting Winnipeg's number 2 in the West. They're pretty much Canada's great hope to break the drought right now because I noticed kind of not really any serious Canadian threats in the East right now. And then in the West, the Canadian teams, you got Winnipeg 2, and then
what about the
no
Oilers?
one's higher than 6. Edmonton's somewhere in that 6 to 8 scrum.
Okay.
Now, we're only at the quarter season mark.
The Oilers are good.
So they could step it up. But right now, generally speaking, NHL, NBA, I consider the top 4 seeds the contenders. It's not often you see like a 6 seed run the table. And
Are you having issues
do a
with your
lot of
headset
damage.
over there? My gosh.
yeah, I think I am. I think I was sitting on it too much, and now we'll move the cord. And it'll
Yeah,
be
but I
okay,
will
but-
say, some of the Canadian teams seem to be better now, like the Leafs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. The Leafs are the biggest threat in the East. I don't want to discount every Canadian team in the East. Just quick lightning round glance at the standings right now. Like the Jets are number 2, and there's no other Canadian teams in prime position right now.
Yeah,
We're only at the quarter
it's
mark.
really surprising that people see hockey as a Canadian sport, and it's surprising that they don't have more titles up there. So
Right,
we'll see
especially
what happens.
lately. And then just one other thing I had on the NHL that I thought was interesting, kind of 2 steps of this story I find interesting. The Vezina Trophy goes to the best goalie. I don't remember if he won it or not, but he was in the Stanley Cup Finals. He was a finalist. Skinner of the Oilers, their goalie, I think he won the Vezina Trophy. If not, he was in consideration of it. But either way, like top goalie in the NHL, just got fined $2,000 for embellishing. And I thought that was kind of interesting for 2 reasons. Number one, in the NHL, flopping becomes embellishing. They tend to have their own lingo. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then number 2, oh my God, how little and cute and adorable is a $2,000 fine.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Have any of the 3 major sports fined something less than $10,000 like in the past 10 years?
No.
Like I feel like, yes, $10,000 became the minimum fine in every other sport since, let's say, like 2010. And then I don't know exactly how much hockey players make, but come on, Skinner,
Actually,
top 3 goal in the NHL. I don't think you're
he's
getting in his
paid.
pockets too bad, fining him
No.
$2,000.
Yeah, the last time
What is that?
The last time I've seen
He's probably got that in his glove box in his car.
The last time I saw a fine that little was for Ezekiel Elliott when he didn't make weight and he was like fined $1,000 or something.
And that was probably when he was like a rookie, like 2013.
He was like 2 pounds over the weight he needed to be at, and he was fined $1,000. So I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Right. So yeah, it's just get out of the ice age, no pun intended. NHL, those $2,000 fines have kind of like
it's like one of
not
those
really
things,
moved the needle in a while here.
It's like one of those things you laugh at as a player. Like you get the fine and it's like $1,000. You're like, what? Like,
right.
Okay,
that's hilarious. I'll get a commercial out of it and make $8,000.
I did see that the Monsters, they have a good deal on wanting people to go to the games. They have that 1, 2, 3 deal. It's $1 for a pop, $2 for a hot dog, $3 for a beer.
Man,
now you're
minor
not
leagues or not, $3 for a beer to see pro sports. It's the minors. It's still professional.
Yeah. They're a contender too.
Yeah, that's right. They were in the Calder Cup. That's what they call the minor league version of the Stanley Cup.
They're a good.
They didn't win it,
team,
but they were like right there and shit. Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot cheaper for a beer than a Guardians or Browns or Cavs game.
They're even. Sure. I hate to say it. I love my captains. Wore the shirt backwards. Get to know your future Guardians. But yeah, $3 a beer. The captains can't even compete with that.
Yeah.
And again, that's comparing minor leagues with minor leagues. So yeah, solid deal. You like some hockey?
Yeah,
get to a Monsters game.
And I really like to watch hockey, and I think I'd like it. I want to go down there.
Dude, I'm so surprised. Like my Hulu Plus package, because that's kind of a subsidiary of ESPN, shows a bunch of hockey games, and it's like good for hockey. There's this many games on these TVs, on TV. Bad for baseball. Like I've known baseball's television contracts a mess for a while. Like
baseball and basketball. How about the Cavs? Like I can't get the Cavs on regular TV.
I know.
Pay for...
It's a damn shame.
And
Cleveland is a baseball and hockey town, and it's easier to find hockey games on TV than baseball and basketball.
The thing about the future of these sports is, everybody's streaming now and not on cable, and they say, the viewership. I know the NBA viewership is way down, but people got to look around for channel. What do they have the channel? They got to ask themselves that. They got to Google that, and then how much are they paying to get it? And then there's their blackout restrictions. It's not as simple as just turning your TV on and it's on your cable anymore, now. So I think the leagues need to take that into consideration more, that making these games more available.
I agree, because thank God, like the Indians were on primetime in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or else I wouldn't have been able to see any of the games.
But I mean, and what I've settled for, well, I really enjoy listening to sports, so I've found ways to just listen to games, but
right, that's a good way to adapt with it with all this influx or whatever uncertainty of like the TV deals.
It'll
just listen
it'll
to
maybe
it.
Take maybe it'll just take a couple years before they hash everything out. But I do believe FanDuel is going to be taking over the Cleveland, like the Cavs games. So we'll see what happens.
Because the Cavs are on Bally Sports right now?
Yeah, but I think that's going under, and now it's going to be called FanDuel. But then here's the thing, is then FanDuel has to sign contracts with the different TV providers.
And you know what? I think
that's sounds like red tape on red tape.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's already happened, actually, because the station's now on FanDuel. And I was like, I don't have that channel.
Right. So here's the thing. Now you're paying for your TV provider, but then you don't have the sports games you like. So, yeah, I hope they can get it hashed out.
Well, let's talk a little bit about our beloved 3-9 Cleveland Browns, shall we?
Well, we were all out watching that game Monday night. I know we're going to get more to Winston and things later. But hey, it was an entertaining game, despite the outcome not being quite what we wanted.
No, I agree. But the Browns this Sunday will go back into Pittsburgh. We beat them earlier on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, yeah, the snow game.
Yeah, the snow game on Thursday Night Football.
There.
We were downtown
great.
tailgating. The snow game, you and Lily were at the game.
How cool was that? Unfortunately, we didn't have a show within closeness of the snow games. So just quick snow game appreciation.
We tried to do it. We tried to do a show, and we just had a malfunction with our
game. we had a couple technical difficulties, but we did have a pregame show.
Right, pregame. But I mean, since the snow game, I just wanted to celebrate what a good snow game that was, since unfortunately we weren't on the air anytime.
Yeah, we had a malfunction and our generator failed, so the whole system failed, so we had to move to the lapel mics, and it was just a whole disaster. And it started snowing heavy, got colder. So
right.
But do you think the Browns will go into Pittsburgh and beat them again?
Well,
We don't
that
we don't do well in Pittsburgh,
That
ever.
depends on what. Well, we haven't had much of a running game. Okay, so that. And then we've had Winston throwing the ball almost 50 times a game.
Yeah.
Which we'll get more to that
Can't
later.
Can't happen to
Yeah.
win games. You can't throw the ball 50
mean,
times and run the ball less than 20
I
times.
remember like when we used to beat the Steelers like years ago, and you felt like we really had a chance and we were gonna win. Our running game was just whooping them. And I mean, if you remember last year when Chubb got hurt, I mean I think he had almost 70 yards in that first quarter.
Yeah.
So I think if you want to beat the Steelers, you better be able to run the ball. So we'll see what happens. I don't think we're gonna win.
Yeah, it's asking a lot
I'll take
in this
Steel-
lost season to sweep them. I'm hoping for a competitive game.
I'll say 24-17 Steelers.
Yeah, I've got 20-13 Steelers. Same margin. I'll just dial back the scoring a little because our defense is still playing really hard. But
I'm so weird right now because we're going to talk about Jameis Winston in a minute,
I know.
but he's been so magical all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Like, it's just, he's the most.
Well, you can tell he's got a lot of heart.
Yeah. I'm going Browns. I think the
right.
Browns
All
are going
right.
to sweep the Steelers, and we're going to win. And we're going to score points in this game. And
Well,
there's going to be a lot of points because Pittsburgh's been scoring.
And it's funny.
You watch Pittsburgh and Cincinnati,
It's
put up 40
yeah,
fucking points.
and it's been this ridiculously predictable basic format of good Jameis, bad Jameis.
Right.
And if that pendulum keeps swinging, yes, we are scheduled for good Jameis this week. So
Right.
let's not change the schedule now.
Well, what's last
while we're
week?
due
Was
for good
last
Jameis.
week bad Jameis? He
Well,
threw for
yes.
497 touchdowns or 497 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Two
Yeah.
bad
It
interceptions
was bad
doesn't
Jameis.
erase
Is that-
anything. That does. I'm
Two
sorry,
to
that
one-
doesn't
2 to
offset
1
anything.
ratio. What if those weren't pick sixes and they're just
Yeah.
regular
Wow.
interceptions?
Well,
I
what
would take
if?
'em.
If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. What do you mean, what if?
But
He
I'm
threw
just-
2 bad interceptions.
but
It's
was
a
that-
bad game.
but
So
was
he
that
gave
bad
them 12
Jameis?
points.
That was bad Jameis,
that was
absolutely.
bad.
What's
Jameis.
good Jameis?
Good Jameis
Would
is
mean 0 interceptions.
all those
Eight
yards
touchdowns
and
and
manageable
2 interceptions?
turnovers. Yes, that was bad Jameis. That was good Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy carried us on our back. So, yeah, once you factor in, too, that one of our wideouts had a 250-yard game. Is a 400-yard game that impressive
Right.
for a quarterback when one wideout did 80%
Well, right.
of
And
it?
that thing when you
Not really.
when you have no
me.
running game, then you're just throwing the ball.
Right.
But he is the most exciting player right now. But I haven't gave a score prediction. This is going to be a high-scoring game if the weather's okay, and I think it's supposed to be Sunday. Dude, it's going to be like
Yeah,
30,
I know it's
I'm gonna
supposed
say
to warm up
38,
around here. So.
I'm
38.
pretty sure the wind is still going to be a factor.
It might
I
be
don't
right
think the
around,
weather's going to be
right around,
great.
Right, might
personally.
be right
it's
about.
like 40 or
It
something
won't be a
Sunday.
blizzard,
Oh.
but dude, Heinz Field always has some stupid ass winds and shit.
Well, why don't we look it up?
yeah,
real
look it
quick?
up. I mean, this
I'm
is
going
reckless
Browns like
speculation.
38-31.
Okay,
Like,
I'm
it's
just
gonna be
saying.
like- Oh, wow.
Don't assume
Yeah.
the weather's going to be
Oh,
great.
so you think Winston's going to be chucking them? All right.
Chuck it around, and we're going to run the football. I think it's going to be a crazy game again. I really do. I really, really do. But yeah, all right. Let's talk about Jameis Winston, famous Jameis.
Yeah.
I think I might have spelled Jameis wrong. Is that right?
No, I think
no,
it's
that's
right.
that's
Oh, that is
way
right?
wrong. No, it's an A. The second letter's an A.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
positive.
it is the forecast.
He's not
for
Jameis, he's
Pittsburgh
Jameis.
on Sunday.
I'll fix it real quick.
It's all good though.
Oh,
it's a
I
tough game
missed
to
that.
spell.
Oh, I was saying.
I
at the
always
end,
look at the.
Yeah,
I always
that's
look at
closer.
the.
I think you're in there
I'll
now.
fix it real
Yeah.
quick. Famous Jameis,
All right,
though.
so it is 50 degrees in Pittsburgh, 10% chance of rain. So yeah, fairly decent weather. So yeah, they will
Because I remember
be
it
able
was
to
supposed
throw
to.
the
The
ball.
weather was supposed to warm up next week, so
Yeah.
like everyone's worried about all the snow we've had and flooding. So we'll talk. Well, I don't know, but let's talk about possibly the most exciting player, interesting
Yeah.
player. Not even just on the field, off the
Right.
field. His interviews have been fantastic. Like they say, like the players want to play for him. He's like making it exciting in Cleveland. So. What do you guys think about Jameis Winston?
Well-
He's coming off a 497-yard game, 4-touchdown game, technically 6 touchdown passes thrown, 2 interceptions, so pick sixes. Big question, though, is Jameis Winston the bridge quarterback going into the next season? Let me start really quick, because I hate the term bridge quarterback. I think he could honestly just be the starting quarterback for the next 4 seasons. He's not that old. He's
Yeah,
not,
you
he's
know,
the same age as,
I
like,
think he really likes playing here.
I mean, do you
I
like
think he's got a lot.
turnovers?
He's
I
got
don't
he's
know.
got a lot of heart. I think he's very religious. Now I think he says, well, God just didn't let me make that throw, and And, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. No, you didn't see the defender. But I'm going to say, yes, he should be our bridge quarterback. He did beat Pittsburgh. He did beat Baltimore. He needs to clean up the interceptions. If he can do that through the rest of the season, then yes.
And let me speak on the interceptions. So remember last season, everyone was crazy for Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
right?
When he was interception prone too.
Joe Flacco threw just the same amount of interceptions as this guy has, and everyone was gung-ho for Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, man, I will take 497 yards, 4 touchdown passes, and 2 interceptions every game if he can continue to do that. But the 2-to-1 ratio, I will take all day.
Well, but man, in this case, I like the term bridge quarterback. Like, I'm not going to pile on the guy; he's all right. But like, to just hand him the job for the next 4 years, I feel like we're aiming a little higher than that. Especially, let's face it, unfortunately, we're going to have at least one juicy draft pick in these next few years. Now, sure, this quarterback class doesn't necessarily maybe flip our switch, but like, eventually it's going to be pretty tempting to take a quarterback. The word complacent comes to mind. To just like set it and forget it and give him the job for 4 years. Like,
but
I don't think that really tracks in today's NFL.
And I'm just worried about this like draft class because I don't think they're the best quarterbacks I've ever seen come out. And I've said this many times. I think Shedeur is the best overall quarterback, but I just worry about the off the field dad around. I worry about that with Shedeur. Cam Ward is. I mean, I would just not draft a quarterback this year.
Yeah, we do have needs on the offensive line, and there are a couple good guys coming out of this draft.
And I'll be honest, our offensive line has played very well the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like very well.
I mean,
we're banged up.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Maybe with that first rounder, we get the best O lineman we can get.
Dude, I hear you guys' reservations about the quarterback class, but like, all I'll say to play devil's advocate about that is I'm not crazy about any quarterbacks in this draft either. But just as far as big picture goes, like as an organization, if we want to bet on ourselves and say we're going to turn this around and maybe say things go our way and we don't pick in the top 10 the next few years, maybe there's something to be said for talking ourselves into one of these quarterbacks and just being like, okay, let's see what we can do with a quarterback in this draft and bet on ourselves, and then that way we have a quarterback in case we turn things around and don't get a very juicy single-digit draft pick in the next few years.
The problem with that, though, is the times are over where your number one draft picks has got to play, and they better play now. There's not very rare is a quarterback sit for 2 or 3 years, like the Aaron Rodgers treatment by far. That does not happen.
Sure, that's becoming an outlier,
now,
not the normal.
And
yeah.
I'll be honest, the last one to do it was probably Jordan Love behind Aaron Rodgers, and he sat, I think, only 1 year. So I'm like, there's so much money involved with your first-round draft pick, so they got to play, and they better play now. And it's hard to –
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but
I do have a point to make. If you look how good the Chargers are doing with Herbert, and their wide receivers are McConkey and Quentin Johnston, Lad McConkey.
Well, we all know why they're playing well. It's the hardball effect, bro.
Well, right, but but look at the weapons Jameis has. I mean, he's got Tillman, Moore out there, Judy,
first-round draft pick, let's not forget. Elijah Moore was very talented coming out of college. Let's not forget
and
about
that one guy was making some catches, Woods.
Now that they have a true quarterback, and not
so I'm just saying,
Sean Watson.
Now, Winston has good receivers to throw to. And look how well the Chargers are doing with the receivers they have. So he's got the right tools. He just needs to get it to our guys.
All right. George, you brought up the elephant in the room. Allegedly, Watson's coming back next year. Yay. Anyway, not really, but anyway, what's the timeline like for when he's healthy? Like, is it just like life is going to keep him on the shelf, or is it like he's going to be healthy week 3 and like is the money going to talk? And we're
I've heard this on the radio last week. So they were talking about like Dak Prescott and how he's hurt, and he's been at the game on crutches, right?
Yeah.
And he had a pretty bad injury as well. So the Browns radio, 92.3 The Fan, a semi-quote, they said that Deshaun Watson has been in the Browns facility, but he has not been to the game. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And I'm comparing it to the Dak Prescott, so I'm like, are they just going to give, like how Houston gave Deshaun, pay him to stay at home kind of deal? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's kind of in my opinion,
it's definitely a looming
that
distraction.
really looks
and,
bad
yeah.
on him for the other players
like-
for not even come to the game.
so like to end last year, right? We didn't bring Joe Flacco back because it would have been a distraction because Deshaun Watson was our starting quarterback, right? Aren't we in the same boat now that Jameis Winston is playing well? Now it's like, do you bring Deshaun Watson back to be the distraction?
Sure.
Like,
if you just want,
it's like
if
full
you just want
circle.
Winston to have a clear path, you're right. You're hoping we use the same logic. Like, we don't want a distraction. Get the fuck out of here.
I
Like,
agree.
We got rid of your distraction, and now you are the distraction. So yes, we're going to do the same thing.
So I say,
Get
yeah,
out
I
of here.
say keep. I'm going to vote yes. Keep Winston as the bridge QB, and just pay Watson to not show up.
I'm not quite as big on Winston
The
as you guys, but
problem-
I do agree. Keep him as the bridge QB and just the bridge QB. But it's like, yeah, because if we move on from him, we're just gonna sign some other asshole with just as many question marks for a bunch of money.
And the problem is, here's another big problem. So if we just keep him around, pay him to stay home, your 52-man roster goes to a 51-man roster. So you lose a roster spot. That's another thing that sucks, which I don't understand. Why can't you just demote him to the practice squad? There's something in his contract where he needs to be on the 52-man roster,
Right.
which I read about. I'm like, damn, that's another that sucks.
That's a good agent. He knew he'd pit out so bad that we'd fucking be mulling over even keeping on the roster. So he took the guesswork out of that. Fucking asshole. That was smart. Dick.
Fucking ass.
So I voted yes. What did you guys vote?
I think he needs to be our starter next season, period.
Okay, so yes.
I vote a quiet yes.
All right.
I think he's
All right.
got to be like, dude, he just broke a record for the most passing yards in a Browns uniform. Jerry Jeudy.
yards are
you
fun.
know, and the thing
People
is-
break records.
the thing is about
records have been
those-
rewrote in the past 3 years. Everyone's
If
broken
you're
a
telling
record.
me any Browns quarterback throws 4 touchdowns and they lose the game, I'm like, that's insane. You need a win. Where's our defense
And
at,
the
guys?
thing is why he's throwing for all those why he's throwing so many times is we just don't have a running game.
We need to run the football. I agree. Like,
So maybe if our running game was working a little better, I mean, like in that game against the Steelers, we kind of had to run the ball because of the conditions. But I mean, yeah, if we're running the ball more, maybe he'll throw less interceptions and so.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more times you throw, you're bound to have interceptions.
Right.
It's just it's the name of the game. It's chess, not checkers. Run the football.
Yep.
All right, let's get into our NFL game of the week, shall we? I got to do my
I
cool.
love this.
Here we go. Ready? Tonight on Thursday Night Football, we have an NFC North showdown. The 9-3 Green Bay Packers head into Ford Field to take on the 11-1 Detroit Lions. The point spread is 3.5 favoring the Packers. The over and under is 51.5. How are you feeling this one, Mr. Kyle Carini?
I think the Packers will win. I know Detroit's dealing with a lot of injuries. I did actually bet the Packers plus 5.5. I do think they will cover that spread and win the game.
Okay.
This game is very meaningful in the NFC North in the standings. So it's basically a do or die game for the Packers. Now, if Detroit wins, I'm not sure if Detroit already clinched or not, but they may have. They're 11-1.
No, they haven't clinched anything because that division's so good. Oh, well, maybe a playoff spot in of itself.
But the Packers are 9-3. They really need to win. They really need to win tonight to really be in contention. So, I think the Packers get it done tonight.
How you feeling about the game tonight, Tito?
I'm leaning a bit towards the Lions. I know they're really banged up on defense. I think that they're kind of riding the high of surviving that Bears game. They didn't really deserve to, but Eberflus stepped on his own dick, and I think they'll seize that momentum. And, momentum's a funny animal going back to the Bears. The Bears got burned on that Hail Mary, and then they lost 6 straight in a row in the blink of an eye. And going the other way, that was the negative side of it. I think the Lions will capitalize on their momentum. The Bears blew that game out of their ass, and the Lions won't look a gift horse in the mouth, and I think that they just rattle off a huge winning streak and build off that and don't look back. They're banged up on defense, but I think the Lions at home
I really
will hold on to
I
this
really
one.
like I had the Packers at 5.5. to against the spread, but they are a 3.5 point underdog. The over and under is 53 points, that's pretty.
Oh,
that's
it went up
pretty
to
good.
53. Okay,
Yeah.
because I have the over under at 51.5.
Now that's a dome game.
And
so
3.5
Yeah.
favorite for the Packers. Man, but yeah, like Tito said, like the Lions defense banged up, but
Yeah.
it's so hard to bet against Detroit right now, and they're at home. Prime time football. You know, Dan Campbell's already punched three holes through the wall. Head might have went through. Like,
yeah, his face is all red.
Yeah.
and then the late in the season, they have the 1-2 punch of running backs Gibbs and Montgomery as well. Man, them two is dude. It's
And they're a great
Dude,
compliment.
I'm always rooting for Big Ten guys. Montgomery's out of Iowa, and then obviously, he got drafted by the Bears, which, like, if you play offense, there's a 90% chance that's the kiss of death being drafted by the Bears. So I'm really happy Montgomery has, like, found his footing and resurrected his career because
what's their nickname that they call them? They have like the cleats. It's like Fire and Ice or something funny. I forget what it was. I can't
think
remember.
That might be it, actually.
Is it? Okay.
there'll never be another Thunder and Lightning, Ron Dane and Tiki Barber. I feel like all those other power finesse nicknames are like watered-down imitations of Thunder and Lightning,
What
personally.
about Shake and Bake?
Shake and Bake?
That's from
Is that NASCAR or is that football?
Telegated
Yeah.
Nights.
I want to go
Well,
fight
it's
it.
kind of like when we had Hunt and Chubb in their prime. I mean, they
Yeah.
were a good compliment for each other, and they both had a little different styles.
Agreed. You got a score prediction?
Well, I do like
It's a perfect
the over.
weather game, just so you guys know it's in a dome. So.
Right.
I'm going to go Lions at home tonight, 32-24. In a very good game, I believe.
I'm going to say 32-28 Packers.
I'm going to say 31-20 Lions.
So wow, we all
Good
so
game.
he picked the under, but we all are expecting it to be a high scoring game.
I think so. It's
Ooh,
beautiful
the under
weather
by
late
a
in the
C here.
season.
That 53 is tough because 53 by NFL standards is a very high over-under. But, again, on the other side, explosive offenses, ideal weather, dome. I mean, more than ideal weather, no weather. It's a dome. You know,
Right.
So.
And that, dude, late in the season, you're licking your chops that you're not playing this game in Lambeau Field. At first, I thought the game was in Lambeau, so I couldn't wait to do the NFL
That's how the
films.
board says it, unfortunately. But don't worry, it's the other way.
Should have been verse.
Yeah. You know, in Georgia's
Yeah, that
defense,
should
we
be the
haven't
other
had
way
the
around,
telestrator in a week or so, or a month or so we're a little rusty.
Supposed to say first. My bad.
Next show here, that telestrator, it'll be in rear form. We'll dial it up.
But
Shout out to Mike Fratello. Czar of the
but
telestrator.
probably 2 points of that spread is just because Detroit's at home. Really?
No, usually standard 3.
Oh, it's 3.
That's just like the
So
book
basically,
says, to feed the home team
It's
3
really
points.
anybody's game. We'll
Right.
just give the home team.
Most pundits say that, yes, when the line's 3 favoring the home team, that means it's essentially a pick 'em, and then there's just
Yeah,
that
I
3
mean,
point.
it could come down to a late turnover or a missed kick or something.
Right, and I will say I picked the Lions, but I picked them to win by 11 because if it comes down to a kick, Green Bay probably has the edge. Brandon McManus is a bad dude. He fucking held it down in Mile High for years, and, yeah, he's not afraid of bad weather, and he don't even have to deal with bad weather in this game. So, like, yeah, if it comes down to a kick, that might favor Green Bay. That's why I picked Detroit, but qualified that by saying it won't come down to a kick. It'll be 31-20.
I wanted so
I don't know
bad.
nothing about the Lions kicker, but I'm pretty sure if it comes down to a
I
kick,
think the
he's not better
Packers
than
will put up more
McManus.
than
So
20
if it comes
points,
down to
but-
a kick, the Packers would have the advantage.
I so bad wanted to say, like, the NFL films, the frozen tundra of Green Bay. Like, I couldn't wait to say that. I'm like, shit, it's in Detroit.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, because it is fun to say.
Yeah.
The
But-
comfy, warm dome.
Soon enough. Yes, yeah. It doesn't have the same ring to it
No.
as the frozen
Yeah,
tundra.
the comfy warm dome of Ford Field.
Oh, it's funny. Really quick, kind of off topic. I saw a video of Chris Berman like yelling at the whole staff and being like an asshole. It was pretty funny. Like we all know him as this like fun-loving guy. Like,
Yeah, whop!
yeah, and maybe he ultimately is, but like no one could be on like that 24/7. And then finally, some like behind-the-scenes guy like pirated a video of him being like a dickhead and yelling at everybody. Check it out sometime. It's
Yeah,
pretty
I'll have to
funny.
look that up,
I
definitely.
mean, it's nothing like crazy, like go viral, like cancel that guy, but it's just like more hostile than you're used to
Right.
seeing Chris Berman being. It's some interesting fish out of
Yeah, I'll
water
say
shit.
you see him be like the most nice guy
Oh,
on
yeah,
film, and then
yeah.
behind the film, he's just a dick.
Oh yeah, it was pretty funny. So.
Have you ever seen that? Reminds me of like the video, like, fuck it, we're doing it live. Have you ever seen the full video of that? Do you know what I'm talking about? He's like, we're doing it live.
It sounds
Fuck
familiar.
it. We're doing it live. Have you ever seen that or heard that? Damn it. You have to look this up because
Okay.
it's like a famous sports clip or whatever, but it's a telecaster, and like something was going bad behind the scenes, and he's like, fuck it, we're doing it live. He rips off his jacket and he has his dress shirt on, and then something else fucks up again. He's like, God fucking damn it.
Nice.
I'll send it to you guys later.
All right.
Let's
Looking forward
finish.
to it.
It's really funny behind the scenes shit, and I don't know why this is so blurred. The damn telestrator, god damn it. But let's finish up with some Cavs. The Cleveland Cavaliers are currently have the best record in the NBA, sitting at 19-3 on the season. They played at home tonight against the Denver Nuggets. How do you guys think the season's gone so far?
I think it's been going great. Hey, I do have a score update. It's 60-58 Cavs.
Okay.
We put up 30.
Damn, they're more into that game than I thought they were.
For some reason, I thought the game was at 8:15. That's why I haven't said
We had 37 points in the first quarter.
Oh, wow. We've been scoring a lot of points in the first quarter, like the whole season. Like, that's a lot. What'd you say the score was right now? It's
60 to 58.
It's in the
Second quarter?
Yeah, it's in the second quarter, almost halftime now.
Okay. So Cavs up big. Or not big.
The
but
Joker's got 15. Murray's got 10. Donovan Mitchell's got 10. Hey, Karis LeVert, 16 points off the bench.
Good for him.
Man, if we could pull this off, this would be a nice.
Mobley's got 9.
This would be a nice, like, sort of landmark win for us. I know we're a bit disappointed. We hit that Thanksgiving weekend hiccup against the Hawks, but let's not forget we've only lost 3 games, and we've only lost to 2 teams because we ran into the Hawks while they were hot and they beat us twice. Now, I will say,
yeah, it seemed like what you guys think. Do the Hawks have our number or what?
well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, man, Trae Young, the home Hawks game I was at in person. You know, I had, first-rate seat to check that out, and it's like, man, Trae Young really carved us up. We didn't run anyone off the three-point line. And that's what I'll say is my concern is if a good passing guard like Trae Young can carve us up for 22 assists, I'm a little scared of what a good passing center like Jokic can do. Because it's like,
he's already got 11 boards.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
He's playing at a high level. I just watched the Nuggets-Warriors game the other day, and it was just basically like...
Was that the crazy call at the end of the game where he called a timeout and he dove for the ball and Steve Kerr, lost his mind? Was that game?
Well, yeah, it was that game, but fuck you, Steve Kerr. You lost by 4. Your win probability would have went from 0.2% to 3% if you got the call. Not a good look, dude. Nothing wrong with showing some passion here and there. Dude, you got beat either way that game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going on my way to pile on Steve Kerr. Former Cav, NBA champion. On a different day, I might have some good things to say about him. But, yeah, you lose by 4 points to, cry about a judgment call like that. That was fucking stupid. But anyways, that's my little rant. That did not cost them the game. That was just he was already losing the game and then cried about a bad call.
Now, with how great the Cavs have started the season, what do you guys think is our biggest weakness that teams are going to attack as the season moves on?
Probably perimeter defense. Especially, with the Wade injury currently now. I mean, I know he's technically a power forward, but he helps out with our perimeter defense. Ice is a good perimeter defender. He just doesn't have a whole lot of help. We're blessed in a league that's generally going small. We have plenty of size and good big men, and then obviously guard play isn't a big problem either with us, with Garland and Mitchell. So, we're deeper than high heaven, so you can't attack our bench or anything. So to me, it's just our wings overall, and got to have a weakness. So I suppose to nitpick, that's a manageable weakness to have. So
yeah, wing play and wing defense.
Okay.
So those teams that can shoot the 3 ball are going to be. Look at the game we lost against Boston. That first one, they killed us 3s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet because we shoot the 3 good, but it doesn't seem like we're defending the 3 terribly well. So it's I feel like a lot of people are getting caught up in how lucrative we are offensively from 3s, but if we're giving most of it back on defense, that's not a big advantage. It goes both ways. You want to hit your share of 3s, and you want to manage the opponent's 3-point prowess. So, it's a bit concerning, and again, that's kind of being redundant with wing defense, but just running people off the 3-point line and protecting that.
Guys, this is usually the point in the show where we do our trivia. but there is no trivia. But I do want to bring up the picture. It's here somewhere. So this is the This was the updated score, I believe, from last week. No, it's not.
That's from like the first week. It's like 10-3
So wait,
to
so
3
how
to
many?
2
How
now.
many does he have to get before
I have
he
it. That's
resets?
not the updated.
Yeah.
Damn it. I have it somewhere.
Right. I remember the 80s, but now let's go to the current score.
Yeah, it's like 10-2 to 1.
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
it's like 10-3, 2-2, I think.
I still laugh every time I see those graphics.
Right.
It makes me giggle.
and again, like I said, I'm not discounting the fact that having a good decade on most of you guys gives me an advantage. So that's why, again, I proposed the handicap match.
Is it only a decade? I'm just kidding.
It's been 84 years now. But it's like, yeah, that's why I offered to take all these guys on, and like I'm by myself, and everyone can bring an uncle of their choice, and we'll do some trivia, and we'll see how that goes. But either
My
way,
uncle's a trivia champion.
oh no,
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, never mind. Did I say uncle? I meant cousin.
Well, gentlemen,
rule.
final last skid marks.
Well, go Cavs. I hope they get it done tonight against the Nuggets.
Tito, last skid mark.
Last skid mark. Okay, yeah, go Cavs. We're going to focus on the Cavs, and glad Donovan Mitchell came back, and we're going to have ourselves a deep playoff run. And I don't know where the season will take us, but I will say we are going to go farther than the Celtics this year, and yeah, farther than the Celtics for the Cavs. Final skid mark.
I'm gonna say, famous Jameis Winston throws for 440, 4 touchdowns, and maybe 1 interception, and a victory over the Steelers.
All right. I love
And he generally, always.
Live and die with the deep ball.
I was going to say, I'm trying to tee you up there.
Well, there you have it. Honest Abe Sports Fort with Kyle Carini, the baseball whisperer himself. As always, I am George Gresco. Please share the show. Follow us across all social media. We hope to see you at our Toys or Shots for Tots event coming up in less than 2 weeks. Be on the lookout for our next sports report coming in the next weeks, which our next show will be the college football preview
that'll
show.
be a big show.
Which will be here soon. But don't forget, Honest Abe will tell no lie. Goodbye. See you right. Peanuts.